At 52, I quit my job and stopped climbing that corporate ladder and decided it was time for me to build something for myself. Granted, I had lost a promotion, but that one gut-wrenching moment changed my trajectory forever, and I've never looked back. It was terrifying to take my own leap, but I finally did. This is my story when I did take that leap of faith and I got my power back. The last 10 years, when I was at my 9 to 5, I played by everybody's rules. I sacrificed my family, my kids, to build somebody else's dream. My loyalty was a badge of honor, and I truly did feel I kept working hard for this organization that my time would come. And it did. Before I quit, I was interim CEO of the organization during COVID. Our budget had tripled, and I was in charge of that budget for the entire state. My career was my identity. It was predictable, it was stable, I had great insurance, and let's be honest, it was comfortable, maybe too comfortable. But there was always a whisper in the back of my head saying, what if? I absolutely loved my job. That promotion should have been mine. And frankly, that was the absolute last straw. I had worked for over 10 years in this organization, sacrificed nights and weekends. And you know what? Shame on me. I should have had better boundaries. When the president of the company called me, and that should have been my first red flag, that I was passed over for the promotion, I was just gut-wrenched. I was in shock. I was ready for congratulations. I didn't know what to say. I got a speech about fresh perspectives. Somebody who was hired outside of the organization, did not have any of the industry experience, a fraction of the educational experience I did in this particular job title. It was obviously not meant for me. This was a huge disappointment for me. It was literally a slap in the face. What I think I realized at this point, that all this dedication that I have given to this organization meant nothing, because I had spent a huge chunk of my adult career within this organization, giving my energy, my creativity, and my knowledge. And for what? To be told that I wasn't the future? This is the kind of cocktail that women over 50 feel with ageism and sexism. Makes us feel invisible and truly not appreciated. And here I was, lucky me, seeing this firsthand. When I started to feel this, the fear was real. I could have lived out my career in this position, but that wasn't for me. I did not like the fact that I was discarded. Society doesn't really roll out the red carpet for ladies who are in their 50s looking for a new job. Frankly, I just could not go any further and be true to myself in that position. I was mentored for years. I had people in DC calling me. I had people at the national organization calling me. Everybody wanting to know, why was this happening? Almost immediately, when I'm processing all of this, I knew something had shifted. I could not respect this president, knowing how she could not see my value. If it was just me feeling this way, but when I have people all over the country curious about what had happened, I knew it wasn't just me. I needed to figure out a way to make this right for me inside. I really didn't know what I was going to do. However, I knew I had to do something. And I didn't quit in a rage quit. I carefully planned it out exactly what I was going to do for my next step. Hey friends, if you like this kind of content, please hit the subscribe button. That is going to tell YouTube that you want to see more, and I would be greatly appreciative. Thank you. I called it my escape plan. And I started reading a lot and listening to podcasts, and it wasn't about finding a job. It was about financial independence and looking at very different ways than what I was told as a young person by mentors and family about how you should get a job and stay in a job and be there forever. It just doesn't happen anymore. Those people that told us our worth was the tie to our title. And it's not. We create that. That's in our mind. All of this studying had to be very much about my mindset, just as much as it was about the money. I had to believe in my own value. What took me so long? And don't let this happen to you. You are valuable. You have the smarts. You have the education. You have literally the experience within the organization. You can transfer that and you can do whatever you want to do. And at this time, I was a widow. I had 2 children who were kind of in and out of the house at this point, and they keep coming back and forth into the house, so I was almost an empty nester. What was I doing? I read a statistic that women over 50 are taking financial control of assets like never before. In 2023, women held an estimated $60 trillion in global assets. That was me, and that's you. I got a big flip chart paper, and I listed everything that we paid for every month. My kids kind of freaked out because I got rid of everything. I got rid of all the streaming services. I got rid of all the gaming services. I had us down to the bare minimum. I took my industry experiences and I made my life my business. And I looked at everything in a totally different way that I never had before. I knew that I needed to start my own thing, whatever that was. And at this point in this journey, I didn't know. In my research, I found that 40 and 50-year-olds are actually turning into more entrepreneurs and more successful than the younger generation. In that the age group of 55 and 64, they actually have the higher success rates of all entrepreneurs in this data set. So I wasn't an anomaly. I was part of this revolution. The day I walked into my boss's office and I handed him my resignation, it was the most liberating feeling I felt in a very, very long time. And it was because I was taking control. I was in charge of this situation. And Monday morning, when I didn't have an office to go to, and I could just get up and have coffee and look at the next step of my plan, it was amazing. I felt a sense of peace that I haven't felt in years. I knew what I was doing was right. I had a plan packed out. I could make this work. I wasn't unemployed anymore. I was actually unleashed. Today, my life is completely unrecognizable. And I don't miss that 9 to 5 at all. I run my own rental company from a spare bedroom in my home. I make my own hours. I, number one, prioritize my health. I use my industry experience and I consult with clients that I really want to work with. I'm also a member of several boards, another way to give back to my community. And I'm jumping into social media with videos like these. How awesome! Sure, some months are lean, the fear is real. However, that fear doesn't own me anymore. I have a structured path that how I'm going to move forward with clients that respect my expertise. I'm building my own dream on my terms. Success isn't a promotion anymore, it's freedom. It's about finding purpose, not just a paycheck. I know my story is not unique, and I know women all over are rewriting their story after 50. If any of this hit home and you have that little voice inside of you saying there should be more, or there can be more, or you need to change, write your comments below. We all would love to see your story and your path. If you want to see what happens with my journey, please hit the subscribe button. It's never too late to be the person that you want to be. Your age isn't a liability, it is your greatest asset. It represents decades of wisdom and resilience and experience that nobody can take away from you. If you're feeling stuck, know that you're not alone and that it's not too late to change your path. The world is full of possibilities, and it's just waiting for you to write that great new chapter.